Welcome to What Matters Most.
We are dedicated to educating the community about holistic, metaphysical, and spiritual topics.
Each week, we discuss things that matter most in life, the things that are most important to you that may have fallen to the wayside.
We are always centered on the idea of simplifying life, connecting with our neighbors, and following our true paths.
Our mission is to empower you to live the life that you've always dreamed of living.
We invite you to focus your life on what matters most. Welcome to What Matters Most. I'm Kristen.
I'm Maria
from Experience Nirvana, and today we will be talking about eating organically on a budget. We will have with us Mona Laru, and she will be sharing with us key tips and tricks to start eating better, start eating healthier, and doing it with a budget in mind. Everyone knows with the crazy economy, it's not as easy to buy all organic. I'm sure a lot of us.
It's a good excuse. It's so expensive. Can't afford it.
Well, it is expensive.
It is.
It is expensive.
It's more expensive. Right.
Right. So, me personally, what I started doing is I do buy organic sometimes when I can. But I did start a garden. I bought organic seeds. I went to Walmart, so it wasn't expensive. And I have a lettuce garden. We've got tomatoes and peppers.
Right, and we did the same thing. Right.
Right, and so what I chose to do was at least start there. And I thought, okay, well, at least every day, once my produce has grown, I can have a fresh salad.
Yeah, and actually what we were talking about, because we were so inspired and so happy with our initial results.
Right.
This is our first go around with doing any type of food gardening.
Right.
That we thought, well, going forward next year, maybe I'll grow certain things, and then you said we'll share.
Right.
Because what kind of happens is as you're growing this garden, you have this abundance. Like right now, I've got eggplant that are going to be coming out. I'm going to tell you right now, if I don't share the eggplant, I'm going to be eating eggplant up the gazoo. And it happens, right?
It happens with tomatoes.
Sure.
I have tons of lettuce. The deer ate mine, so I do suggest getting fencing because they will eat it, and then it's really upsetting.
But it's so inexpensive to do this, and if you start with just a small, if you think of actually growing a huge garden, it might seem like, oh my God, that's overwhelming.
And here's the next thing I want to say. The next best thing that I have to say after planting your own garden is composting.
Oh, the composting.
Composting, at least for me, I've seen the results. We've been composting for about a year.
Yeah.
And we took our first bucket of compost and we used it all as fresh topsoil for our garden. So I didn't have to go out and buy organic soil and spend money on that. I used the compost that I've been collecting all year. You put a little bucket in your kitchen, and when you get the remains of your, the ends of your tomatoes, your cucumbers, banana peels, anything.
Food product, other than meat, no meat.
You don't do meat. The only reason I found out, the only reason why you don't do meat is because if it's outside, it'll attract animals. That's the only reason. But technically,
it would biodegrade too.
Right, anything, as eggshells. So we used it this year, and it was such rich topsoil. I'm sure that the produce that we'll get for next, it is so much more nutrient-based.
Oh, sure, right.
And you're making your own soil.
Right. So all the nutrients from the food that you've composted are now creating this wonderful source of more nutrients.
And it's called free.
And it's called free. Besides the fact that you have less garbage, it's not going into landfills. It's just an overall ecology type of thing, really good thing to do. Yeah.
It's really easy.
And it's easy.
It truly is. Look it up and find out how you can do it online. You don't need anything fancy. We use old garbage cans. You don't have to get one of those big turny things from Home Depot because that costs more money too. We use an old garbage can.
Right. I have the turning thing.
Well,
I don't know if I necessarily feel like it was really. It's a convenience, but I agree with you. You could easily go with a garbage can, or just some people just take it and make a pile.
Right.
There are some people that
you just turn it. It's just about turning it to get the oxygen there so it keeps breaking down. Right.
There are people that just have a spot on their yard and they flip all their stuff out there.
True.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways to do things without having, because you start to think, well, I've got to do it this way, I've got to do it that way. There's a lot of inexpensive ways if you just get a little creative.
Right.
So I do think that's the basis, at least. I think organic growing is...
it's a great way, and it's also very gratifying. to be able to see and eat.
You go out in your
what
garden.
you just like. It's exciting, believe it or not, to go out there and look and go, oh my gosh, look how big this is getting. Oh, we've got our first cucumber.
Yep.
This is really cool. I mean, it's
very
like
exciting.
like being little kids again. So you'll find it to be a spiritually
Well,
gratifying.
not only that, if you have children, you can show them where their food comes from. I mean,
Right?
because
You connect.
there's a lot of kids out there that just think, well, our food comes from the store, not connecting. This is from the ground, or
Right.
this is from here,
Right.
this is from there. So that's a great thing to do with your children as well, and then you can make that a daily activity
Yeah.
of going out in the garden and picking your food and eating.
And as we said, if everybody maybe grows a couple of things, not only are you doing something great for yourself, you might be doing something great for your neighbors, and it's a nice way of connecting with your community.
So stay tuned. We've got a lot of great information coming up next. We've got Mona Laru. Stay tuned. You're listening to What Matters Most, and we'll be right back. And we're back with What Matters Most, and we're here with Mona Laru. Mona is certified in organic nutrition and group fitness, as well as being a wellness coach. Mona is also a recipe writer and regular contributor and source for several websites, as well as New Jersey Life Health and Beauty Magazine, New Jersey Namaste News, and Natural Awakenings. She created her business, Naked Nutrition, to offer health and wellness coaching to individuals and groups to improve their lifestyle and diets and to lose weight by eating whole organic foods, exercising, and meditating daily. Thank you for being with us, Mona.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely.
So Mona, let's start out by talking a little bit about, we're talking about eating organically on a budget. Where do I begin? How do I start?
Very, very good question. I know in this day and age it certainly is hard with the economy and the increase in food prices, but I have found 12 ways to eat organically on a budget without breaking the bank.
Okay, great. Go ahead. Tell us some of those ways. I don't know if we can hit all 12, but let's at least hit the highlights.
Yeah, so let's start out with, why organic, first of all, before I go ahead and touch on those points. I think that's an important factor here before I go ahead and jump into it. So why organic foods? So organic foods have no pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, or GMOs. And all of these things really are being linked to a lot of health problems, including obesity, heart disease, the uprise in cancers, you name it, lots of them there. Also, believe it or not, organic produce offers 50% more nutrients than your conventional fruits and vegetables. So when I say yes.
Why is that?
That is related actually to the way organic foods are grown. So because the soil is a lot more alive and well, and they're using sustainable farm methods, that soil goes into the produce, and then it provides 50% more nutrients than a conventional fruit or vegetable.
Sure. Wow. I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
No.
Interesting little fact, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And guys, also what I have found as well is it tastes different. I really do encourage all of the viewers and listeners to do a taste difference between a organic apple and a conventional apple and see if you taste a difference. I think it would definitely be striking, but you certainly make that decision yourself. Yeah. So just jumping a little bit into why, how we can do it affordably and how do you allocate your dollars to grocery shopping organically. So the first thing I've found is knowing the list of the dirty dozen. Have you guys heard of this list?
Yes, definitely.
We've heard of it. I know there's like certain things that are more important to eat organically if you have to pick and choose than others, correct?
Yeah, so this all goes down to budgeting your organic dollars with your fruit and vegetables. So just quickly, the Environmental Working Group has come out with this list that is a list of what delivers the highest dosage of pesticides when tested. So again, this is called the Dirty Dozen, but knowing these items to purchase organically, will really help you budget your organic dollars.
Sure.
So just quickly going over them real quick. Apples, celery, strawberries, peaches, spinach, believe it or not, nectarines, grapes, bell peppers, potatoes, blueberries, lettuce, and kale. So all those things you want to purchase. Yeah, you definitely want to purchase organically there.
But let me ask you a question, just to interrupt, Mona. Is it because those particular foods are more shot with like heavy pesticides than perhaps other things? Why are they considered the dirty dozen?
Is it their skin, the thickness? I've heard the difference about this.
What makes them the dirty dozen?
Right, why?
Yeah, so there are several factors that go into this list. Everything from the consumption that Americans have, so think about strawberries and apples. They're highly consumed in this country. We yield a lot of products of apples and strawberries, so they're high up on that list because, first of all, critters love nice and sweet things, but secondly, because we use them so much in this country.
Okay, so it's based on consumption too. Okay.
That's
some. I encourage all listeners to go to the Environmental Working Group's website as well. That's ewg.org to get the full list. And they can also be found on my website as well on nakednutritionnow.com.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's great and all to know the dirty dozen, right?
Right.
But, how do you make it all affordable? So knowing the list of what we also call the Clean 15, these items are actually tested lower in pesticides, again, by the Environmental Working Group.
Oh. Okay, and what are some of those?
Some of these include onions, pineapple, avocado, sweet potatoes, believe it or not, mushrooms, but I highly encourage people to go onto nakednutritionnow.com or the Environmental Working Group to gather the full list of the Clean 15 so you can allocate your dollars well against purchasing organic brands.
Hey, Mona, what is the difference between eating an organic item as compared to an item that's labeled natural?
Right.
Very good question. Natural means nothing. Natural is a great marketing ploy out there right now. Something can be labeled natural and have a list of ingredients when you turn over the back of the packaging of 15 unpronounceable items.
Oh, okay, I like that. 15 unpronounceable items, exactly, yes.
So again,
it's a marketing ploy.
Yeah, I mean, sure, some vendors are definitely true to this marketing technique, but all things considered, I always say, be an aware consumer and know what you're purchasing. So turn over the back of the packaging, if it's in packaging, and look to see what's in there. Are they really natural items? Can you pronounce the name? If you can't pronounce it, don't buy it.
Yeah, sure.
Wow. Well, unfortunately, we have to go to a quick break. So, you're listening to What Matters Most, and when we come back, I'd like to touch on maybe what makes a food organic. What are the guidelines? So when we come back, you're listening to What Matters Most.